The International Criminal Court's Office of the Prosecutor says it will respond to former President Duterte's request for interim release. However, it did not confirm whether they support Duterte's plea or not. Duterte's lawyers earlier claimed the prosecution does not oppose the release under certain conditions. But lawyers on the side of the victims urged the ICC to reject the request, warning it could endanger those seeking justice for drug war abuses.
Let's discuss that further with ICC Assistant to Counsel, Attorney Cristina Conti.
Good morning, Attorney. Thanks for joining us again.
Yes, good morning.
Okay, so what are the chances po na, let's say, mag-grant yung request ng Duterte camp para po sa interim release?
Well, I wouldn't know with the court, and I've said it's around 50-50 because there are points that merit kumbaga, not granting, and then there are other points that could say, well, let's grant it. But one big point is that there is no precedent as to the interim release of an accused for crimes against humanity.
So kumbaga kasi, attorney, yung pinapoint out, meron daw precedent with smaller cases, pero yung kaso ni former President Duterte medyo mabigat. Will the court take into serious consideration, attorney, baka you could enlighten us, yung mga statements ng mga witnesses?
Well, yes. The potential threat to witnesses and victims will be considered by the court. And the overall situation, kumbaga, will be factored in. Ito yung sa discussion na rin ng interests of justice. Will his release help in the case overall or not?
Attorney, baka you can help me out a little, no? Because I read the statement. I don't know if this was officially from the defense team, but sinabi nila Mr. Duterte will not be able to continue, nakalagay, to commit crimes. So parang I don't understand why you would do that if you were part of a defense
team. Parang may admission.
Parang may admission na may crime ka nang ginawa dati at pag release ka, he will not continue to do it.
Well, this is a legal tactic. I do not think, kumbaga, this is a legal tactical strategy. Kumbaga, hindi naman siya admission of guilt in a sense. Although it would appear so, kasi he's, actually, hindi ko din alam kung bakit nakakagulat. Kasi umamin na matagal lang sinasabi ni Duterte ang kasalanan ko, extrajudicial killings. So kung para sa akin, that's nothing new. But he needs to say that explicitly just to push for this request. There are certain grounds for the court to deny it, and that is included. If there is a great probability that this person will continue committing the crimes or will commit crimes, among them yung flight risk, etc. So these are, kumbaga, words or statements that you need to make to argue for an urgent request for release. Of course, it's another thing altogether if these statements are true.
Right.
Okay.
All right, attorney, the defense argument states, I'm sure you know about this, Duterte is no longer the president of the Philippines and does not command the same influence or power he said to have abused during the period of these alleged crimes. Pero we all know naman po that he is still influential in terms of like, nanalo po siyang mayor sa Davao, yung anak po niya vice president ng ating bansa, yung anak niyang isa vice mayor ng Davao. So, 'di ba po ba parang hindi this will state pa rin po na influential pa rin siya?
Yes, you're correct. Everything that you mentioned, we will raise, hopefully, hopefully this week in our opposition or observation. But we'd also like to point out that the context of his commission of the crimes is not simply because, it did not only occur when he was president of the Philippines, but more particularly, it started when he was mayor of Davao, of which he is mayor-elect of now. And he was founder and head of the DDS.
Yes, that's right.
So, regardless of president siya, vice president siya, kahit congressman pa siya, as long as he could be connected or is still connected to the Davao Death Squad, and at this point, it could have morphed. It could have been, kumbaga, it could have developed into a different thing altogether as what happened in different situations. Alam yan ng ICC that, kumbaga, quote-unquote, headless these kinds of criminal organizations can do so many things. Kumbaga may individual factions which could act on their own doing. And
Yes.
so that's what the ICC is minimizing. Kaya even Duterte, I think he's pointing this out. He agrees that he will not talk to media. In the sense that he should not be able to inflame his supporters further. But it could be directed towards, ang tingin kasi natin, pang DDS ito or yung Duterte diehard supporters. But it could also be directed to the real DDS, yung mga Davao Death Squads.
Tsaka, attorney, even if the former president himself, diba, is not allowed to talk to media, there's also the issue na his daughter is the vice president, his son is the vice mayor, his other son is the congressman. So they could be the ones and parang de facto sila magsalita. Technically, they won't be breaking any terms. So will the ICC be taking a look that every other member of his family is in power?
Yes, I hope so, that they understand that in the Philippines, politics is an entirely different animal. It's similar maybe in some respects to other countries, but not in the sense of sa Pilipinas sa atin yung iba yung parang paninindigan nyo sa pamilya when you say this last name. Parang, oo, yes, this is what they represent. And for the Dutertes, for so long, they've been known to be kumbaga hardliners. Tatay nila, Dirty Harry or The Punisher. And whatever they say, I mean, Sara herself has taken action. Di ba yung may sinuntok siyang sheriff?
Right.
Has taken action and they're really, kumbaga, they're able to transform or to use their words to effect action.
Okay. Attorney, can you also enlighten us to the legality and what it means for the victims para dun po sa difference ng nasa ICC detention center si former President Rodrigo Duterte or mag-grant yung kanyang interim release when in fact, at the end of the day, didinggin pa rin naman yung kanyang kaso?
Yeah, well, kumbaga, technically, if you take out everything from the equation, what's important is that the trial on September 23 pushes through, whether he's in detention or somewhere else.
Yeah.
Baga, kahit ma-release siya, okay lang naman kasi nandyan naman din siya at sisipot. Kaya lang yung context nito at yung implications on a larger scale would be, for us, especially the victims who until now are unwilling to come forward because precisely they're still in power.
Right.
And you have two types of victims who are participating in the case and victims who will testify in the case, yung witnesses. At importante ito dun sa victims na magte-testify o magiging witness. Not all of the victims will be witnesses, but at the least they could participate. Yung witnesses, mahihirapan kasi alam nyo dito sa ICC hindi sila nag-o-offer ng siguro ang itsura ng witness protection na naiisip ng iba kasi nakikita sa pelikula yung magpapalit kang pangalan, papalit ka ng bahay, entirely new identity that does not and will probably not happen in the ICC witness protection program. They have very limited considerations and more importantly they rely on the cooperation of the state where the victims are. The Philippines is not a member. Kaya parang ang hirap kung kunyari, hindi nila basta-basta maililipad yung biktima sa, sabihin na natin, for example, sa Netherlands. Yung pamilya niya, may anak, may asawa, may extended family, and so forth. Paano ang trabaho? Kaya we have to think about yung witness protection as kumbaga in-country, walang mababago. Sige, tanggalin nyo na lang sa Pilipinas para hindi sila matakot. No, that might not probably be the best way forward.
So, Attorney, baka you can help us understand this a little na. Kunyari, let's say, hypothetically, tapos na ang trial, whether guilty or not guilty ang verdict, does the witness protection program ng ICC extend to even after the trial? Or sila mismo directly ba ang mga kasiwa ng witness protection? Or it's a recommendation lang to the countries that are party to the ICC?
Well, problem is, as far as I know, the witness protection terminates at the end of the trial.
So after, wala na?
Oh, in fact, in certain instances, yung pag-testify mo lang, basta makaupo ka lang, tapos na. Kasi,
Okay.
again, the ICC has no, kumbaga, its powers are limited only by what their member states can offer. So it's up to the member states actually. Actually, if a member state offers lifelong protection, then maybe, but that would
That's good. Oh.
fall under the framework of kumbaga asylum na,
Right.
mas more of that. Yung witness talagang forever nang aalis dun sa bansa. Pero yung ganituhan na parang aalis habang may hearing or i-secure hanggang maybe 20 years, sabi na natin, walang ganong framework. Kasi ang ano nila,
Okay.
actually ito kaya this has to be also pointed out for the Marcos administration. The premise is there are proceedings before the ICC against the top-ranking official, yung talagang most responsible. But there should also be prosecution and investigations in the country or the low-ranking para i-weed out mo yung lahat ng kumbaga masasamang damo.
Yeah.
Kumbaga, that in essence, ang punto niyan dapat walang threat sa biktima dito sa Pilipinas or even abroad. Kaya it's not a perfect world, so we have to do what we can.
Kumbaga, attorney, just to understand it, kasi the very premise of trying the person responsible, let's say, in any country whatsoever, yung the crimes against humanity is to cleanse this issue and hopefully to prevent it from happening again. But the point is, even if you take out the head, the people underneath have to be weeded out. But that's not the problem anymore of the ICC. Kumbaga, is it the country involved kung saan nanggaling yung head, dapat mag-weed out nun?
Yes. Kaya yung term na complementarity, may dalawa yan Uy, complement tayo. Kumbaga, color wheel. Complement ng ganitong color is the other. It means one does what the other cannot.
Pero,
And if the ICC will target or will try yung the heads, sa Pilipinas, dapat yung small fry.
What if, kasi I just like to touch on that a little, what if the country is not amenable to that? Kasi in our situation kasi in the Philippines, medyo friendly sa ICC ang ating government, so that is a possibility. But in the other countries, there's still the ones who are detained still enjoy a majority of support from the other politicians. So what happens in that situation?
Well, it depends on yung politics, pero in other countries, in some African states, they were able to push through with reconciliation mechanisms or what we call generally transitional justice mechanisms. Among them, yung parang yung Truth Commission, you come forward, tapos magkakapatawaran.
Right.
Pwede yun. Pwedeng prosecution, pwedeng investigation. Pero importante, ito ay issue na hindi lang may pinatay ito, tapos na. Hindi. May inutos ito at ang kailangan i-address yung policy. And in fact, we're even looking at policy changes in government. Right. And although Marcos has already said that we're pursuing a different track, Nicolas Torre has said, hindi kami papatay. Pero sabi pa rin niya, it's a law and order problem, drugs. What we've always emphasized is that drugs is both socio-economic and a public health issue.
Right.
Yun ang kailangang i-address sa ngayon.
Okay. Attorney Conti, lastly po, I want to go back dun sa request for the interim release galing po sa Duterte camp. Yung statement po nila, yung request was heavily redacted. Nakita po natin doon, hindi po nila nilagay kung anong country. Number one question would be, yung host country po ba ay kailangan talaga member ng ICC? Yun lang yung po pwedeng pumayag o pwede rin outside the membership of the ICC? And also, I also asked this to Attorney Butuyan last time, kung tama ba yun na heavily redacted or hindi po nakalagay doon yung country na nire-requestan po nila ng interim release?
Well, as to, kumbaga, issue kasi ito ng compliance. Kaya yung, kumbaga, technically, the ICC would have invited the Assembly of State Parties, all member states, to weigh in and say, sinong gustong tumanggap. Pero may gusto nang tumanggap pala. As far as the rules say, dapat member state because of enforceability of a warrant of arrest or orders of the court. Pero ako, kumbaga, possible din na non-member state. But, possible din kung sakasakali. But, if yung submission na rin nila mismo ang nagsabi at naglimit na nakalagay doon na the volunteering or the receiving state is far from the geographic scope of the incident. Geographic scope meaning Philippines and Davao.
Okay.
So may gano'n na tayong reliance. And then as to country ba o saan ba pupunta, mas secondary na nga yan para sa akin. Yung reductions, I think mas importante para sa ating malaman ngayon yung conditions. Kumbaga saan man yan mapunta, ano yung hihilingin sa kanya? Bawal siyang umalis ng bansa, sasamsamin yung passport, magre-report siya sa ICC how many days,
Right.
saan siya pwedeng pumunta, saan ang bahay niya, etc.
Alright, on that note, maraming salamat po sa inyong oras, ICC Assistant to Counsel, Attorney Cristina Conti. Thank you so much.
Salamat, ingat.